Hello everyone, my name is Nishanth, and today my friends and I will be teaching you about the art of solo performance and how that contrasts to chamber music.
Here's a short overview for this video. First, we will begin with an introduction, followed by 2 questions regarding solo performance in chamber music. Then we will discuss musical collaboration in chamber music in an interview style. Finally, we will wrap the video up with a special surprise being guess the type of performance and a conclusion followed by credits.
So let's begin with an overview of solo performance. This is when one musician, one voice creates the music on stage. This allows for much more freedom in expression while performing. But classical music also thrives in collaboration. In chamber music, a small group of musicians come together, blending their sounds, listening closely, and balancing their voices to create a unique soundscape. This really allows for fascinating textures and colors to come together. The difference between solo and chamber performance is not just the number of players, but rather the experience. One is about individual expression, and the other is about a collective dialogue. In this video, we will explore the differences with examples and how one highlights the power of an individual voice and the other highlights many coming together to work as one.
Hey everyone, Oliver Jang here. Today, let's dive into what solo playing means in the world of performing arts, specifically in music. Solo playing is when a musician performs entirely alone, with no other instruments or voices accompanying them. In this setting, the performer carries full responsibility of every aspect of the music they're playing, which includes the melody, the harmony when possible, the rhythm, the articulation, and the emotional expression. Without the support of an ensemble or accompaniment, solo playing demands a very high level of technical precision, musical independence, and expressive control. The musician must maintain steady tempo, shape phrases effectively, and communicate the piece's mood and story entirely through their own interpretation. This type of performance can include fully written compositions, improvisations, or just personal arrangements tailored to the player's style. Because all attention is focused on only one performer, the soloist, every tone, quality, timing, expressive contrast, and stage presence becomes magnified. Solo playing occurs in many genres and different musical environments, from classical recitals, jazz showcases, and competition settings, to more casual performances and online broadcasts. It not only highlights a musician's artistry and skill, but also fosters confidence, creativity, and a deeper, more personal connection to the music, making it one of the most intimate and direct forms of musical performance and communication.
Chamber. What is chamber? Chamber music is really about understanding your role, knowing when to support, when to bring out the melody, and how to keep everything balanced so the whole piece holds together. As a pianist, I often feel like the base of the group, almost like the trunk of a tree. There's a lot of weight on my part, but when it's done well, it allows the whole group to sound extraordinary. I like to think of chamber music like a play. Each musician is like an actor on a stage. You have to listen to how others deliver their lines and adjust your own performance in response. It's a constant dialogue, and no two performances are exactly the same. That's what makes it so different from solo playing. As a soloist, you have complete freedom to shape everything in your own way. But as a chamber musician, your freedom is balanced with responsibility, and you can't completely drift into your own world. You need to stay connected, aware, and in tune with others around you. And when everyone does that, when each person listens and adapts, chamber music becomes something greater than the sum of its parts. And with that, here is a Beethoven duet, and please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Nishanth,
And my name is Saketh.
and today we will be playing the first movement of the first duet of three, composed by Beethoven for clarinet and bassoon, arranged for violin and cello. Hope you enjoy. Today I'm going to be asking him about musical collaboration within chamber music. So Saketh, when you're creating music together, how do you make sure everyone's ideas are heard?
We start out by listening to each other's ideas and contributions, and we then reach a general consensus on what we liked and what we didn't, and we see what worked and what not.
Okay, so I hear that you're giving space for others to share their ideas and deciding as a group what you guys want to hear in the music.
Yes, and then we start shaping the piece using those ideas and those contributions.
I see. Okay. What's one thing you've learned about working with other musicians that you can't learn playing solo?
I've learned that flexibility is essential. You need to be flexible to others' ideas, and you need to see what can work and what cannot.
What's your thought on about like reacting in the moment with other people around you? How does that work out?
I think listening is probably one of the most key things that you need to know in chamber music, because you need to listen to all the harmonies and melodies around you, and you need to know when you're coming in or when you are coming out.
That's truly wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Peter Parra, and I play the piano, and I'm with...
Hi, my name is Saketh, and I play the cello. What's more nerve-wracking to you, playing solo or in a chamber group, and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. I would say nerve-wracking, well, they're both very nerve-wracking. Playing solo and playing chamber, they both have their difficulties. When you're playing solo, you're by yourself, so if you mess up, it's very apparent in how you play. You know, it really affects the audience if you mess up. But, you know, in chamber, it may seem like it would be covered up if you mess up, you know, because if you're playing with 4 or 5 people, or maybe 6 or 7, it feels like it would be it would be covered up. But, you know, as a pianist, I'm the support role throughout the whole piece. And if I mess up, it's kind of like a ripple effect. The whole chamber group will suffer, and the whole thing will be disbanded. And maybe a few measures, they won't work out well, so it would be very difficult to progress. Yeah.
So you're saying that both have their reasons, and like for solo, you're by yourself, and everybody's just gonna hear you, and for chamber, it starts a ripple effect. Very interesting. How do you handle mistakes differently when you're alone versus with others on stage?
Well, it's very similar to when you have nerves, right? So when you make a mistake on a concert, it's always unexpected. You don't know when it's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna happen in the beginning or the end or in the middle somewhere. You don't know, right? How would I deal with this? Well, when you're alone, it's actually a lot more simple, right? Because you're by yourself, so when you play that mistake, you can start from anywhere that you want. Don't make it too apparent. You know, stay excited, joyful, whatever the mood is. Don't show it, and then move on, and you should be totally fine. But when you're playing together in a chamber group, again, I'm that tree trunk in that piece, you know? And when you play that and you mess up, it affects everyone. So the best way to deal with this is you mess up, you skip a few notes that you know you won't be able to memorize right on spot, and then you go to the next measure as soon as possible. And that gives the chamber group enough time to readjust to you, and hopefully it works out.
Well, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Has someone else's interpretation ever changed how you now play a piece?
Well, yeah, actually, this past summer, I heard the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto at the Meadowmount School of Music, and there's this one particular interpretation of the second theme that I really liked. So then I started to try and incorporate it in my own playing, and I sort of found a balance between my playing and their playing that I really liked.
Oh. Do you feel freer to experiment when playing solo or in a group? Why?
So on stage, definitely solo. I mean, I've just spent so much time, you know, like programming the technical aspects that now I have the freedom to really play as I want to play. But in the rehearsal room, I definitely think that you do a lot more experimenting as a group, you know? Like, because you want to plan out your aspects on stage, especially if it's with more people, then all the people have to be on board. So then part of the rehearsal space becomes planning out dynamic changes, color changes, rubato, and just overall tempos and etc. Yeah.
So you're basically saying, you know, when you play solo, you have a lot more freedom to do what you want, but when you're in a chamber group, you have to, you know, incorporate the details that other people are asking you to do, and it makes it a lot harder to play freely.
Yeah, I think in the chamber group you still express your ideas, but they're rehearsed ideas. They're not just ideas that come to you on stage. They're what you guys practice in the practice room and rehearse together and agree upon collectively.
Thank you so much for your ideas.
Thank you, Peter.
conclusion, while solo and chamber music both provide deeply rewarding experiences, they challenge and highlight musicians in different ways. For example, solo playing places complete responsibility for interpretation, execution, and emotional delivery, creating an intimate and highly personal connection with the audience. Every tone, phrasing, and dynamics is highly magnified, requiring independence, precision, and expressive depth. The soloist must sustain the audience's attention alone, making every decision carry more weight on the performance. Chamber, on the other hand, blends individual artistry with close collaboration, demanding more attentive listening, nonverbal communication, and the flexibility to adapt one's playing for a cohesive sound. Each musician carries a unique part, yet depends on maintaining balance, unity, and shared interpretation. This requires trust, understanding of a partner's style, and the ability to respond to cues. These performances complement each other in meaningful ways, as solo performance strengthens confidence and individuality, while chamber music fosters teamwork. By developing skills in both areas, musicians not only can expand their technical and interpretive abilities, but also deepen their understanding of music of both a personal and a shared art form. Mastering these areas enables a performer to grow into a more versatile, well-rounded musician capable of excelling in any musical setting they're in. Because of this, actively exploring both solo and chamber music can broaden your musical skills and ultimately allow you to become the best musician you can be.